So, I want to tell you a story, and it's not meant for boasting or bragging, but I think it's an important story and important for everyone to understand where I'm coming from and what I believe in, and maybe it'll help your life somehow. So, many of you know that a lot of times I walk to work. Well, today I'm walking to work and I happen to see uh, a bit of money. So I stop and I pick it up. Well, here it's a cell phone with a little holder on it. And not only is it money, but it's also their phone and it's also the person's cards, all the identification and everything the person has. And so I pick it up, and I don't pay attention to money because I don't do anything for money. I mean, yeah, obviously you gotta live, but that's beside the point. But I pull out the cards to see if I can figure out who it belongs to so that I can hopefully get it back to them. I don't like to get into somebody's cell phone because that's personal stuff too, so I was gonna use that as a last resort. So I pull out the card, and it's actually someone I know. So obviously I get on social media and I start looking to see if I can send them a message. I have their phone, so who knows if they're going to see it, but that's just the first part of trying to find somebody, try to get a hold of somebody, you know? So I sent them a message, and I was in the process of sending them another message telling them where I was going to be so that they could pick it up, because I get to work way early, and I was sitting there and so I can sit there and just get ready for work, get my brain ready for work, you know, and a lot of times make videos like I do here. So anyways, so as I'm walking, the person pulls up beside me and they're like in tears, and they ask me for their stuff back, and I say absolutely. And they're just like, oh my god, I'm so thankful, all that, you know, all that stuff. And they offer me a ride, which I didn't really need the ride, but you know, I let them. Um, since I knew them, it was no big deal. And so, on the process of, the person told me a story that I'm not going to mention here, but it's a very heartfelt story, one of hardship. And they were telling me how much they were praying to God that they find their stuff because they worked really, really hard for that money. And I knew right there, because I'm a minister, that not only was it an answer to her prayers, but it also answered mine. And when the person dropped me off, they offered me money as a reward, and I said, no, you keep that money. You worked for that money. This was God's work. God did this today. And so I'm telling you this as a testimonial. What I realized as I walked from the gas station to my job, I realized two things that are very, very important about all this. Number one, the joy that I get from serving God puts me on top of the world. But more importantly, there's a lot of times in our lives that we don't always know how to hear what God has to tell us, you know? And this time God told me loud and clear that I'm doing God's work. Because I always wonder, because I'm not a Bible thumper. I'm a Christian, but there's so much more to what I believe. And so I wonder, am I doing what's right? Because I filter God through my heart, you know. God lives in my heart. God lives in my soul. So does Christ, the compassion of Christ. And so sometimes, since I'm not just a book Christian, a book minister, I wonder, am I doing right? And I realized that that's my answer. That's my answer to that question. Am I doing God's work? Am I doing right by you, God? Yeah, I am. Because why would God put that opportunity in front of me to be able to do for others if I wasn't doing God's work already? Why would he do that? Why would God do that? So I want you all to know that if you open yourself up, and I don't mean just going to church and believing what you're told, what you're hand fed, but feeling what God has to tell you and testing it against what you read for yourself about what God is. Me personally, I don't care what religion you subscribe to. It's irrelevant to me. To a point. There's certain ones that I'm not even going to mention, but I don't think that they're leading people in the right direction, but that's irrelevant. If you are being compassionate and loving and forgiving and willing to serve that higher power, call it the universe if you want to, I don't care, but that compassion, that love, that's exactly what the world needs. That's exactly what we all need. Then you are serving God. And it is such a powerful, powerful thing for me to have experienced that. I wish that I felt comfortable telling you the one part, but I'm not. That's too much, I think, to share. So, but it's important too. But I'm going to touch on it, but I'm not going to go into the personal details of it. There's a lot of people that think that because you sin, that sin is this terrible, horrible, hideous thing. But what you don't, and it turns you away from that feeling of being connected to God. But I will tell you that the whole purpose of Jesus on this planet was so that God could understand what happens here and why it's so difficult sometimes for us to just have faith in Him and do what we are told, which is where the compassion and the love comes from. That's why there was such a change, and why the 11th commandment, love everyone as I have loved you, has come about, because sin is forgivable. Don't let the darkness consume you in thinking that sin is such a bad thing. It is. You have to always try to do better. That's the whole point. No one is perfect. Everyone's a sinner. But that doesn't define who you are. We all have weaknesses. We all can do better. We can all try to do better. We can all push ourselves and push ourselves outside of our comfort zones to be better and change ourselves. That's what it's all about. It's all about the good you do and the compassion you have in your heart and the forgiveness. That's what it's really all about. And people get lost in that, oh, I'm a sinner. I'm talking with another person right now, trying to teach them that the importance isn't the sin itself. The importance is accepting that, yes, okay, I'm sinning, and trying to be better and realizing that we're human and we all make mistakes and we all fall short. None of us are gods. That's the importance of it. And I'm sure that there are some people out there that will totally disagree with me and say that I'm sinning and I'm doing Satan's work and la 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 la. I'll tell you what I know in my heart, and that's that love is exactly what is deeply rooted in every religion that I've studied. And my journey has led me from witchcraft to Druidism to I've read the Quran, some of the Quran. Look, man, everything that I read, except for the stuff that is not so good, it's all about compassion and caring about each other, because you know what? We can do so much more. We can affect so much more if we hold hands and work together. And that's coming from somebody who has experiences that I can tell you over and over again, testimonials. And I'm not a Bible thumper. I can't sit here and quote every passage in the Bible. I don't even hardly pick up my Bible very often, but I have read most of it, and I've read parts of it over and over again. But I also know that that book has been altered to suit purposes that are not godly and that are not from God. And I could point those parts out. They've been altered for political purposes, and they've been altered for control. A lot of it with the falling of the Roman Empire with Nero Caesar. And we've got to keep that in mind, that God is all around us if you know how to look. God talks to every single one of us if we know how to look. There are no coincidences. There are no coincidences. I promise you that. There have been so many instances in my life. Honestly, I wouldn't even be alive myself if God wouldn't have stopped me. So, I just want you all to know that if you allow and accept, God works through you, and He blesses us, each and every one. I feel so blessed today to be able to serve God. I think a lot of us could use that in our lives, being more of a servant to compassion and love. Anyhow, hopefully there's folks that this lifts up. I know I appreciate everything that just happened to me today, and I love you all. You take care of yourselves, and thanks for looking as always.